Hello, welcome to Abdow Avenue. I'm Jason Abdow, and today we're going to be doing something a little different, something I've been wanting to do for a while now, and that's kind of do a bit of an op-ed here. And I'm going to be talking about a review that was posted on Consequence of Sound recently for the latest album from Tyler, the Creator, Flower Boy. Wait, the reason I want to talk about this is because obviously I'm passionate about, I guess, criticism in general, the art of being a critic, you could say. I've been following many critics, both movie critics, music critics, television critics. You can go on and on for years now. And I personally write reviews for movies that come out. I've spent a year writing reviews on my blog for something like almost 100 albums I believe I was able to cover. I never really kept track. And now I'm reviewing music here on YouTube. And yeah, so you can say I have a bit of experience, not that I'm a professional or anything, but I'm familiar enough with it. And yes, I've listened to Flower Boy by Tyler, the Creator. And I will not give away my feelings on that album. My feelings on the album and this writer, Kelly McClure, her feelings on this album, in terms of what she actually gave it, she gave it a C. That's not really my personal problem with this review. You can have whatever opinion you want. I totally understand. A lot of my favorite critics often disagree with me, and I'm totally okay with that. So I'm just gonna kind of go into this album review, which I'm gonna use the term album review very loosely, to just kind of showcase my problem with this review. And generally it's just that it's not much of a review. It's more of a review on Tyler, the Creator as a person. And yes, I understand people might have problems with Tyler, the Creator. I personally have my own issues with him. He said some things that are truly controversial, that can truly be seen as disgusting. And whether he says it in jest or not, I can see why people get offended. And you're entitled to how you feel about it. In the context of that record especially, if it's something that turns you off and you're a music critic, I mean, I do think it's fair to mention that. I just don't think you should hold it against the person's entire professional life, unless it's something truly horrific, and I don't think Tyler, the Creator's done anything to warrant that kind of hatred. But anyway, I'm going to kind of break down this entire review. I'm not going to leave anything out because I don't want to look like I'm just selectively pulling stuff out of context and kind of twisting it for my own narrative. I'm really gonna just say it all and just kind of break down bit by bit how I feel. So let's start. I have the whole thing over here. The first paragraph actually isn't too bad as far as I'm concerned. The preconceived notions of what a Tyler, the Creator album is gonna be like are plentiful well before you even press play. This has been both a boon and a hindrance to his career, tipping more to the boon side of the scale in what has become a viral habit of either hating or loving something based almost solely on your own personal internet culture and what your daily feed prompts you to feel about a certain subject. The 26-year-old rapper's name has become synonymous with controversy and has put a stink on anything he touches. But like any other stink, seeking the source of where it is coming from is key. I mean, she's kind of explicitly saying she doesn't like him. I mean, again, that's not really where the problem has. The problem for me stems from. That comes a little later. Music as a whole has switched from a beefy main course to bite-sized finger snacks served on a platter designed to be used quickly and then recycled. The nibbling, parasitic influence of clickbait and pull quotes have made it so that the records themselves, which should be the main focus, are the least important element in an album cycle, taking a back burner to the buzz that surrounds them. With a few more years of actual living and growing under his belt, since the release of his 2015 album, Cherry Bomb, Tyler seems to have something to say on this latest elegantly titled Scumfuck Flower Boy, again titled Flower Boy now. And the internet seems at large to think that something is, I'm gay, like actually gay. Okay, a lot to break down just there. One, it's hard for me to take you seriously about you caring about albums and how albums should be the main focus of the album cycle when you literally illegally downloaded this album. I mean, I don't think this was released for critics. So you just took a leaked version of this album and are reviewing it now. So for you to say you have a lot of integrity for the album cycle is incredibly disingenuous to me, at least in this case. And then, as it's been reported by a lot of people, Tyler, the Creator, does come out as gay on this album. At least that's what he says. Whether he's gay or bi or whatever the situation is, I don't know. I don't personally know Tyler, the Creator, and I'm not going to pretend to personally know how he feels about that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you listen to the album, that's definitely something he's trying to get across. In that condescending way she says it, like, I'm gay, like actually gay. That's not a quote from the album. That's just her own personal way of putting it. And then the rest of this paragraph is just completely insulting in my opinion. It takes even the foggiest memory of his previous work and about 2 seconds of Googling to get a sense of his previous stance on homosexuality and women in consensual sex and general hate speech, and telling the lesbian duo Tegan and Sara to hit him up for some hard dick. So these rumblings of sexuality revelations seem shocking in terms of what his sexuality actually is. Who cares? Apparently you seem to care. And yes, like I had mentioned, he said a lot of gross things. Again, I've always taken them in jest, and Tyler, the Creator, has always said that they're done in jest. I don't really think he takes any of these things you've said seriously. I don't think he intends for anyone else to take them seriously. But then how she ends the paragraph off is just kind of pretty much tells you all you need to about everything that's about to come. In terms of the high probability of Tyler's hinting at his gayness on this album to be shocking for shocking's sake, well, that's just another turd to throw on the heightened pile weighing down his psyche. So do you see what she said there? It's highly probable that Tyler's just making up being gay. He's not really gay. He's not. That's apparently what Miss McClure seems to think. And look, I know she is a member of the LGBT community. At least I believe she is, from what I had researched. But for you to just assume he's not gay, and the only evidence you have of that is some things he said in the past, that's the kind of a flimsy argument to me. Like, a gay person has never tried to cover up for being gay, maybe, or maybe the things were done satirically. If anything, that kind of adds a whole new layer to all of that. But instead, you just say, well, he said stuff about having sex with women in the past. Clearly, he can't also like guys, because again, bisexuality is a thing. He never explicitly said, I'm gay, do not like girls. At least, I never picked up on it on the record. So, again, I don't know why you seem so convinced that this is all like a stunt. Just because he's been joking about stuff in the past, that doesn't mean he can't be serious now. Because he's also said some very serious stuff on his albums. Just look at stuff he said about his father. I mean, have you ever heard the song Answer? I'm just saying. And then, again, another really kind of insulting statement. If Tyler has something to actually say on this album, well then, let's hear it, and hope that he still has what some saw as innovation in him to back it up. But if gay is the craziest trick he can think of to pull at us right now, he's gonna have to try something else in another 2 years to see if that works out better for him. Because no one can genuinely be gay. No one can genuinely come out as gay. That would make no sense. It's clearly just a crazy trick he's trying to pull on us. As for the actual music, oh yeah, there's music. It's an album review. I forgot. As for the actual music involved in this release of Scumfuck Flower Boy, it's fine. It's more the same. It seems to be needing something more, an extra spark of interest. And it looks like his publicity team has found a way to insert one. Oh, guess really didn't mention much about the music. It's more the same. Wow, really, really thought out. If we're 3 paragraphs in now, and everything you've actually had to say about the music on this album could be fit in half of a tweet, probably an issue. She does continue to talk about music. I'm gonna try to speed this up a little, but she mentions the song Boredom is not very memorable. I guess, you know, again, I'm not gonna disagree if that's how you feel. And yeah, and she says something more dynamic, like I ain't got time, is something more to her liking. Again, that's fine. And she says she likes it because it has a necessary influx of piss and salt, which is what we bought the ticket to this ride in the first place. Psych, no one bought anything. This shit leaked weeks ago. Yeah, it leaked weeks ago, but the reason no one's bought anything is because when you posted this review, it was not available for purchase. It had just been leaked. So yeah, I'm sure people are going to buy it. So that's kind of a dumb thing to say. And then for you to say you like this song because it has what made Tyler's music work in the past, even though it seems that you clearly hated his music before. So now I'm just confused. But whatever. And you quote this line, boy, I need a Kleenex, how I got this far, boy, I can't believe it, that I got this car, so I took scenic, passenger a white boy, looked like River Phoenix. And then you comment on this by saying, some early write-ups for the album pull this mention of River Phoenix here as one of the clues pointing toward Tyler opening up about his sexuality, but River Phoenix doesn't count, because I even think my dad, who's a Chicago butcher, would have even considered a stab at that. Okay, so let me break that down. So because River Phoenix was attractive, that means that Tyler, the creator, isn't actually gay for thinking he's attractive. And you know, your dad, who's a Chicago butcher, and again, butchers can't be gay, would have even considered hitting that. So yeah, clearly Tyler is straight because he thinks an attractive guy's attractive. Yeah, real gay people think ugly guys are attractive. That's so stupid. I mean, if you were to reverse that logic, and let me just say that one of my straight friends says, wow, I find Emma Stone really attractive. And I came back and said, well, even my gay friends would find Emma Stone attractive. You're clearly gay. That's stupid. That makes no sense. That logic would not hold up in those circumstances. So the fact that you think this makes any sense and this is a valid argument to him not being gay, and just doesn't count just because he said he found a guy who's attractive doesn't mean he's gay, even though he said he's gay. Whatever. I continue. So she goes on to mention the single Who Dat Boy, featuring A$AP Rocky, is another single from an album that was more deserving than the previously mentioned Boredom. I mean, I guess I agree. Who Dat Boy is much more of a conventional single than Boredom. So yeah, that's kind of talking about music, kinda. So what else does she have to say about the song Who Dat Boy? Although the association doesn't help this case much. Okay. A$AP Rocky was charged with assault in 2013 for allegedly slapping a woman during his August 31st performance at Jay-Z's Made in America festival. Is that cool of A$AP Rocky? Absolutely not. Is that a Tyler, the Creator's fault? I guess not. I mean, I guess there's a case to be made that you shouldn't collaborate with bad people. And yeah, if A$AP Rocky did in fact assault this woman, that's a very bad thing for you to do. Don't hit women. But again, I think it's kind of an odd thing to bring up in this situation. Especially since A$AP Rocky has worked with so many artists now. Especially a lot of artists that you yourself, I think, would say are talented. Later in this review, you talk about Frank Ocean in a positive light, and Frank Ocean has collaborated with A$AP Rocky too. So does that mean his music automatically isn't good? I'm just throwing that out there. But then she goes on to say, and just recently, ASAP Mob co-founder ASAP Bari was put in a position to face sexual assault charges after a video popped up showing him sexually assaulting a woman. Let me just be the first to say, I do not condone anything ASAP Bari's done. It's actually just me saying that ASAP Bari is a scumbag. What he did is terrible. What he did is also totally unrelated to Tyler, the Creator, and A$AP Rocky. Yeah, they were both part of the ASAP Mob. And yeah, A$AP Rocky could have said more against it. I know he called him like a bitch or something. But again, that's like a kind of recent thing that has happened, and for you to just bring that up is totally uncalled for, because it's totally unrelated to anything. This verse was probably recorded months before this whole A$AP Bari thing even happened. So I just think it's totally uncalled for to even mention this. For an artist like Tyler, who will be the first to point out that he's not a misogynist, the company he keeps and the names he adds to his albums tend to consistently prove otherwise. Like I said, A$AP Rocky's worked with a lot of people. To be fair, I haven't read any of your reviews of those artists. I'd like to think that you have some consistency there, but I'd be surprised considering the amount of people he's worked with. In the next paragraph, he talks about the song See You Again, saying it's a softer side of Tyler, but it's just so damn hard to believe anything is being genuine on this entire thing. That's your personal opinion. I just kind of wish you would talk about the music. You mentioned some lyrics that you don't like, actually I think you mentioned these are sincere lyrics. Again, I guess this is the closest it's gotten to talking about the actual music, and we only have 2 paragraphs left. We're talking about like 3 songs. Garden Shed featuring Estella is dynamic in its cacophony, mixing fast, deep beats with strumming guitars and piano. The poetic quality of Estella's delivery layers nicely with the grumble bumble of Tyler's signature voice, but still lyrics like truces, since a youth kid, thought it was a phase, thought it'd be like Frank Poof gone, but it's still going on. Reminds us that this is all phony baloney, albeit some somewhat enjoyable phony baloney, which is status quo. What about that makes you think that it's phony baloney? He said that when he was a young kid, he had these feelings of liking men, but he thought it was just a phase, and he'd grow out of it, and he never did, and he still feels that way. That's called coming out. That's called admitting your feelings. That is something that I'm sure you, as a member of the LGBT community, can relate to. I'm sure you have dealt with some very similar things. I mean, I don't know how progressive your environment was growing up. I don't know how accepting people were. But I know for a lot of people, they had this feeling inside of them that they're gay, but maybe they don't know what homosexuality really is. They don't really understand it. Or maybe they were told that that's just not how you're supposed to feel, and then you'll grow out of it, or it's just not a real feeling, whatever. I mean, this is like 101 stuff. This is nothing new. So I don't know why you just keep insisting that this is fake. Because up until now, in this entire review, like I said, nothing really proves your point that it is fake. And don't you think if maybe there was a chance that this was like actually real, that he was actually using this as an opportunity to come out, don't you think you would just look like a huge asshole now for just saying this whole time he's not gay? I mean, I'm sure you would get offended and have every right to be offended if I came up here and started questioning your sexuality and saying that you're not legitimately gay, that I don't actually think you're gay. You would be super offended by that and have every right to be. So I don't know why you think you can just say that about Tyler without having any idea about what he's going through, what's going on in his head. Especially after listening to this album, which, again, I don't want to give away my feelings of the album, but I would say he's pretty sincere on this entire thing. That's not the criticism I'd throw at him. Let me finish this up and just kind of say some final thoughts. Flyover songs like 911, Mr. Lonely, which can't even be saved by a Frank Ocean verse, Droppin' Seeds featuring Lil Wayne, which is great but only a head-scratching minute long, and Glitter, which seems like an actual joke, don't raise the average much here. But now's as good a time as any to reveal that this is a positive album review. No, really, it is. We love this album and would certainly not call it a bitch or a hoe in real life, ask anyone. I mean, personally, I don't understand that. Maybe that's a reference, something Tyler said in the past. I truthfully don't really get it. It's just kind of a condescending, bitter way to end this review. And after going through that, you can kind of see my point, that this is not much of a review. This is more of an attack on Tyler, the Creator. It really does feel like you listened to this album one time, and you knew how you felt about Tyler, the Creator. You had heard that he came out as gay. You didn't want to believe that Tyler, the Creator, was gay, so you told yourself he wasn't gay, provided no evidence of him actually not being gay, besides for some things he said in the past, which could be interpreted many different ways, especially when he himself says that, you know, a lot of what he says is a joke and not serious. Kelly McClue, I'm sorry. I'm sure you are a nice person in real life. I don't want this to make it seem like I don't like you as a person. I don't personally know you, and I'm not going to pretend I do know you and say you're a terrible human being. But I am saying that if you want to have integrity in this business, you need to write something a little, just straight up better than this. This is incredibly insulting. There's no wonder all these Tyler, the Creator fans are mad at you. It's because you're taking his work and just putting a bunch of assumptions on it and giving it a bad review without really saying why it's bad. The most you really say about this album could have been written in like 1 or 2 tweets. I mean, this is over 1,000 words, and less than a paragraph probably are actually about music, and none of it really is that dynamic that you're saying. Nothing that I myself probably can't say. And again, I am very unprofessional. I'm not getting any deals to write with Rolling Stone or Consequence of Sound like you are. And I just wish you used this platform to kind of say a well-thought opinion on the actual music of this album, because that's what people who are on Consequence of Sound are looking for. They're not looking for you just going out and attacking Tyler, the Creator. There are websites I know that you can go to do this kind of stuff. That you can go to just rant about Tyler, the Creator, insult his integrity, maybe even keep going around questioning his sexuality. I don't really know. But this definitely was not that. And Consequence of Sound, you shouldn't have let this get posted. This hurts your reputation. This kills a bit of your credibility. I mean, I know I'm going to think twice now about taking your work as seriously as I had, just because of this one review. And I'm much more reasonable than a lot of other people on the internet. So that's how I feel about this review. I don't know, this really got under my skin. I'm not sure if you could tell. I really think that, as someone who follows music criticism as much as I do, this is one of the worst I've ever seen. And it's just because it's not even criticism, it's just attacks, and sometimes even uncalled for attacks. So, did you like this kind of style, this op-ed thing I did? I enjoy it. Hopefully I can do op-eds about things that don't make me as mad in the future. But let me know how you feel about it. I kind of have been enjoying playing around with different things. So, yeah, I'd love to know what you think. And have you read this article? What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I'd love to hear how you feel about this. And thank you so much for watching.